Starting now by finding a comfortable place and time when you are unlikely to be interrupted by the telephone or other distractions. Making sure you are warm and comfortable for this 30-minute sitting meditation. Seeing this as a time for you, a time for simply being. Focusing on no longer doing, no longer being busy, and switching to non-doing. Giving yourself the time and space to simply be. Being in whatever is in your mind and your body without trying to make things different. Letting things be just as they are. Letting you be just as you are. And just doing the practice as best as you can. Following my instructions if you choose to, but always doing what is best for yourself. So now, taking your seat, either on a straight back chair, or on a soft surface, or on the floor with your cushion. And if using a chair, if possible, having your body self-supported away from the back of the chair, with your feet flat against the floor. And if you're sitting on the floor, it's very helpful to have your knees actually touch the floor. Or sitting with a cushion underneath you, so your knees are supported. And having your head and neck in alignment with your back in an upright position. And having a definite sense of taking your seat, with a strong sense of honouring your body and mind and the practice you are doing. Sitting in a way that embodies dignity. And starting by bringing your awareness to your posture and moving your awareness to those parts of the body that are in contact with the ground. Your feet or your knees touching the floor, your bum in the seat. Really becoming aware of the contact of your body with the solid ground. And now, with that sense of groundedness from your feet and seat, and with the stable strength of your tall uplifted back, just allowing your front, your chest, your belly to become opened and softened. Open to everything, allowing your eyes to close if that is comfortable to you, or if you prefer, allowing your open eyes gaze softly at the carpet. And then checking that your shoulders are relaxed, allowing them to drop without slumping. Having your hands resting softly on your thighs or in your lap. And checking that your face and jaw aren't clenched. And now becoming aware of the space all around you, above your head, beside you, in front of you and behind you. Sitting here just like a mountain, rooted, in touch with the earth while rising tall toward the sky. In touch with the spaciousness around you, open to all. Having a sense of dignity and wakefulness, having a presence here and now. And now becoming aware of your breathing. Becoming aware of the sensations of the breath coming into the body and going out. And choosing where you are going to move up close to your breath. maybe at the nostrils or the back of your throat, feeling the cool air coming in and the warmer air going out. Or maybe coming up to your chest area, feeling the chest expanding and falling as you breathe. Or perhaps moving all the way down to the abdomen, the belly, and following the breath there, noticing the rising of the abdomen as the breath comes in and the falling back as the breath leaves your body. So choosing where you're going to come up close to your breath, choosing where you're most comfortable, and just staying here with this awareness of the breath. And as best you can, being with this very direct experience of breathing. The sensations of breathing rather than thinking about breathing. Just letting the breath be itself. Not changing the flow of the breath in any way. And noticing if there is a tendency for the mind to want to control or manipulate the breath in some way. As best you can, just letting go of the tendency, allowing the breath to be as it is, just noticing. Becoming curious about the breath, exploring it. This breath all the way in and all the way out. Does this breath feel shallow or deep? Does this breath feel fast or slow? Each breath is slightly different from another. Noticing the quality of the breath, its texture. Being curious moment by moment. Following the in-breath all the way in and noticing that moment when it turns around to go out. Noticing that small gap between the in-breath and the out-breath, and between the out-breath and the in-breath. Noticing there is nothing you need to do to make the breathing happen. All that's required of you is just being aware of the movement and sensations of the breath, traveling in, turning around, and moving out. At some point you will undoubtedly notice that the mind has wandered away from the breath. It's no longer feeling or exploring the breath, but has wandered off, involved in a thought, a daydream, an emotion, a sensation or a fantasy, whatever. As you become aware of this, just noticing where the mind has got to, and very gently, kindly but firmly, bringing the mind back to the breath, back to this breath in this moment, reconnecting with the here and now, reconnecting with the sensations of the breathing. It's perfectly normal for minds to wander. It's simply what they do. So not seeing this as a fault or a problem in any way, and not giving yourself a hard time when the mind wanders off, but instead just noticing where it's gone, and as best you can, without judging yourself, or your mind, or the thought, simply coming back to the breath. So not trying to keep the mind from wandering, which is impossible anyway, but with gentleness to yourself, having the firm intention to simply keep returning to the breath each time you become aware that the mind has wandered. And congratulating yourself that in that moment of noticing you are fully awake, aware and present. So if the mind wanders 100 times, simply coming back to the breath 100 times. And if the mind gets lost in a long, heavy thought, knowing that you can always use the breath like an anchor to bring you back, aware and present in this very moment now. Allowing the full cycle of your breath to be your anchor. The safe and trustworthy place that is always with yourself. The place you can come back to whenever the mind wanders or whenever you experience intense sensation or emotion. And now, expanding your awareness around the physical sense of the breath to include all of the sensations of your whole body as it sits here breathing. Keeping an awareness in the background of the movement of your breath in the chest or abdomen or wherever you notice it most. And moving your primary focus to a sense of the body as a whole and the changing patterns of sensation throughout the whole body sitting here. Perhaps having a sense of the movement of the breath throughout the body, as if the whole body were breathing. Some parts moving quite strongly and directly, others barely moving at all. Just noticing the movement of the whole body as the breath breathes. And then, still keeping an awareness of this wider sense of the body and of the breath moving in and out. And now becoming aware of more focused patterns of physical sensations in your body. Perhaps the sensations of contact or touch or pressure of the feet on the floor or bum in the chair or cushion. Or maybe sensations of warmth or coolness, or tightness or looseness. The feeling of air on your skin, or any throbbing, vibrating, pulsing, or very subtle sensation. Sometimes an awareness of the whole body sitting here, and sometimes specific sensations in certain parts of the body. And as best you can, holding all of these sensations together with a sense of the breath and the body as a whole. In a wider space of awareness of physical sensations, allowing the body to be as it is. As sensations arise, linger, and disappear from your awareness. And any time you notice that your mind has wandered off, just noticing where it has gone and bringing it back with kindness but firmness. No need to give ourselves a hard time. Recognizing that each time you notice that your mind has wandered off is a fresh moment of awareness. And as best you can, gently returning to the actual sensations throughout your body from one moment to the next. From time to time you may notice an intense sensation which draws your attention again and again from your focus on your breath and the body as a whole. It may be a physical sensation like pain, perhaps in your knees or in the back, or an itch, or it may be a recurring restlessness or a thought or an emotion. If you find your awareness repeatedly drawn to some intense sensation, then knowing you have a number of options that can work for you. One option is to move and readjust your body to ease the intensity. If this is what you'd like to do, then as best you can, doing it with awareness. First, noticing the thinking about moving, the intention to move. Then, as you move, noticing the experience of moving and the effect this has on the discomfort or restlessness. And then settling back and noticing the sensation in this area and the breath and the body. Another option is not to move but to stay still. While you experiment with turning towards the discomfort, the pain, the restlessness or emotion or whatever it is. Not trying to change it, but as best you can just staying with it and gently and wisely moving your awareness up to it and exploring it. Finding where in the body the discomfort is resonating strongest. And once there, turning towards it and moving up as close as it feels possible for you, moving up to the edge of this. Whether it's a physical or mental discomfort, gently allowing this. And gently taking your awareness to its edge. Not trying to push through the intensity and not trying to escape from it. Just resting at the edge and exploring it with gentleness. And maybe breathing into and out of the area, using your breath to carry your awareness to it. Helping to give it a sense of spaciousness. And on the out-breath, softening to and around it, as we did in the body scan and mindful movement exercises. And then exploring what precisely is this sensation? What exactly does it feel like? And where exactly is it? Does it move? Does it come and go? Is it getting stronger or receding? Noticing if there is a sense of aversion or resistance to the discomfort. Maybe a tensing or bracing or a holding. Noticing where you feel the resistance in your body and seeing if it's possible to soften around and gently let go of the resistance. And just be with the discomfort. What exactly is the discomfort if there is no resistance? As best you can, opening and softening to it all. Just noticing as best you can without judgment, like an explorer, being with this discomfort and your experience of it. Not fighting it, just noticing how it is and being with it moment by moment. In either case, being fully present with yourself, just as you are, moment by moment, right now, non-judgmentally. And now letting the breath and the body as a whole move into the background of your awareness, and moving your attention up to your ears, up to the sounds and hearing. Just being aware of the sounds arising, coming closer and fading away. Not striving to hear, but just allowing the sounds to come to you. Opening to whatever sounds present themselves. Near sounds, far sounds, sounds in the body. Noticing the tendency of the mind to take the direct experience of a sound and add to it all sorts of stories and judgments about the sound, liking some sounds and not others, letting a sound carry you down a long trail of associations. And if you notice this as best you can, noticing where your mind has gone and coming back to the direct experience of sound as sound, arising, lingering, and then fading away. Just hearing the sound as simply and directly as you can. Becoming aware of the pitch of the sound, its tone, its volume, its intensity. The movement as sound arises, lingers and disappears, either abruptly or gradually. And playing with that edge, with the being with the direct experience of the sound and thinking about the sound. And also becoming aware of the spaces between the sounds, the silence. The space out of which the sound arises and which it disappears to. Noticing how the sound rises in intensity, stays a while and then fades, and is followed by more sound or silence. And now letting go of the sound and bringing your awareness to the thoughts and emotions and the thinking process itself. Not seeing the thoughts as distractions that take us away from sounds or the body or the breath, but now moving up close to the thoughts as the object of our awareness. Opening up to the thoughts arising, passing by and leaving. A bit like sounds as they arise, pass by and disappear. You may find it helpful to imagine your mind as the spacious blue of the sky, and the thoughts are like the clouds appearing in the sky. Sometimes they're thin and wispy, sometimes thick and dense and full of meaning, sometimes large and black, and sometimes they seem to cover the entire sky. Whatever size and space, each simply appears, passes by in the spacious blue of the sky, and then eventually disappears in its own time. Some thoughts as clouds are harder to just watch and relate to in the spacious sky. Some draw us into them. We get involved with them, with the content of the thought. It's like jumping into a whole new world with its storyline and characters. And before we know it, we're completely caught up in that world. So just noticing how the mind gets caught up in the content of some thoughts, wanting to grasp and hang on to some and repel others, and how the mind identifies strongly with some thoughts. We see the thoughts as us. Whenever you notice that you are no longer aware of the thoughts as thoughts, but have become involved with them, become involved with the story, whatever that is, the planning, the worrying, the thinking, the daydreaming, just remember you can use the breath as an anchor, bringing you back to the present moment, right here and right now. And when you are stable, centered and present again, then opening up again to the thoughts as thoughts. So using this time to practice just witnessing thoughts. Letting each thought be as it arises, passes by and dissolves. Playing with that edge of what it's like having the direct experience of a thought as a thought and getting caught up in the content of a thought. Just observing the natural coming and going, the natural flow of thoughts. And some thoughts come with intense emotion, sadness, anger, fear, boredom, joy, excitement, restlessness, irritation, grief. When this happens, seeing if it's possible to allow your awareness to include the emotion and to turn toward it, exploring it, noticing where you feel the emotion in your body. Perhaps noticing how you want to push some emotions away, noticing the resistance, noticing any judgment about the emotion and about yourself for having that emotion. and as best you can, softening around and gently letting go of any resistance and judgment. Moving up close to the emotion, being with it, whatever it is, breathing into it and softening around it. Not trying to fight or get rid of it, but simply and gently allowing your emotion to be as it is. And noticing how, like clouds and like thoughts, emotions arise, come into your awareness, and naturally disperse in their own time. And knowing if your thought or emotions get carried away, we can always come back to the breath as an anchor to settle us and ground us. The breath is always with you, always there. The in-breath and the out-breath. To center you, reconnecting you again and again to the here and now. And now letting go of the thoughts and the emotions, and opening up to whatever is present in your awareness. Simply allowing whatever arises to be here, now in this moment. Opening to whatever is most prominent in each moment. In one moment, maybe it's a sound. In the next moment, maybe it's a fragment of breath, or a stream of thought, or a twitch in your leg. Or perhaps recurring patterns in the body, or perhaps recurring patterns in the mind. Moment to moment, just being open to whatever arises. Sound, breath, sensations, thoughts, emotions, being present to it all. Flowing with the natural movement of awareness as one thing after the other arises, lingers, and disappears. Neither clinging to or rejecting anything, and being aware of the space where all things arise and the spaciousness of your mind. Being present with it all. Allowing it all to just be as it is, awake, aware, present with your spacious awareness moment by moment. Remembering that your breath is always available at any time to bring you back to the present moment, to gather your mind when it feels scattered and dispersed, and to ground yourself when you feel off balance or under pressure, to bring you back in touch with a sense of yourself as complete and whole. And now bringing your awareness back to the breath, just coming home to the breath, breathing moment by moment, fully present with each in-breath and each out-breath. Aware, spacious, room for it all. As we come to the end of this practice, seeing if you can bring into your daily life the sense of allowing yourself to be just as you are, fully present with your direct experience, moment by moment, taking this sense of present, non-judgmental awareness into whatever you have to do today.